I'm gonna crack this creme brulee, or try to. All right. Well, thank you for meeting up and chatting over ice cream.
Yeah, this is very chill. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I would love to just start off by having you saying in your own words what you do.
I'm an artist. I make work in my studio. Sometimes they're sculptures, sometimes they're paintings. I also teach art, and I also work at a nonprofit that teaches art to kids. So everything's sort of based around art, I guess. And I'm also a mom of a baby. It's 5 months. Yeah, that's I guess that's what I do.
One thing that I really appreciate about your work is that it seems to like nod at these creative practices that sort of exist outside of like fine art world and academia, in the sense that there's a lot of like found material or like pre-existing imagery. And I'm curious if like when talking about your work, like if you could elaborate on how your own practice has shifted by folding in the history of other people's work into your own work.
I would call myself more of an editor of sorts, so I like, or a collector. So I like collecting, I like editing, I like researching. And a lot of the times the medium or the subjects I sort of discover are by chance or just purely organic, because I'm sort of interested in one thing or another. I think that keeps it very multidisciplinary. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times I'm not really interested in the more fine art sort of historical ideas. I'm more interested in the more like practical, everyday things.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like there's so much like gratitude in your work, but also a really like healthy dose of fun. I'm so curious how you sort of like keep that spirit alive in your practice after all these years.
I think art should be fun, you know. My husband gave me the best advice ever when I first moved to New York and was struggling trying to make work. I couldn't really figure out what to do, and I was just like really baffled by everything and overwhelmed. And Peter, my husband, was like, you should make work like how you dress yourself every morning. You look like yourself every day. You're very comfortable. You know exactly what you want to wear, the colors you want to wear on your body. So he was just like, that's just kind of how you should approach your work. And I really actually think about that every time I try and make work, because I don't think it should be a forced thing. And I don't think it should be something that's unnatural. I think with that comes lightheartedness a little bit, and it also comes with fun too.
I think that it's also, as artists, we do sometimes take ourselves a little bit too seriously, and I like really appreciate a sense of humor in a practice.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sense of humor is very key.
And then I guess on the flip side, it's like, what do you do when you feel really far from that feeling, when you're like still in the problem solving and it's still not totally working out? Like what you do when you're in a rut?
In a rut? Well, okay, so when I'm in a rut, I like to just do something completely different and take my mind off of it. And sometimes going back with it with fresh eyes helps me see it properly. So movies. I watch a lot of movies if I can, and I love thrifting, and for me, literally, that's really, it refreshes my mood. And sometimes a lot of ideas and sort of my aesthetics come from just by like touching different materials and looking at different shapes, and trying things on.
And I guess that's like, I am so curious for you being a female artist and a mother at this point in time. What is that like, and how does that affect your own work?
Wow, I mean, it changes every day. I just think about myself differently. I think about the world differently. It's not really so much through my own eyes anymore. I've sort of like changed my lens, and I'm looking through the lens of my son. So everything does feel different, you know, and looks different, and my priorities are different. So right now my work is in sort of like a transition. I still think about the same stuff, but in a slightly different way, I think. I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Is it too early to sort of articulate like what it is about art making, or like how you source art that's like sort of shifting?
I have to think about efficiency more so than ever. I always thought about efficiency before, but now I have to be like, okay, what can I make in my studio where I can only just go in once a week max for now, you know? So that limits me down to, I can't paint anymore. Painting takes too much time. So that kind of, I'm putting that aside. I have to make sculptures. What kind of sculptures can I make in a short amount of time? So then it kind of proposes a different type of problem solving. And then within those limitations, what can I make? You know, so what am I inspired by? So obviously right now, you know, I'm thinking a lot about Nima, I'm thinking a lot about family, I'm thinking a lot about sort of like myself, how I'm changing, my identity especially. So what is it I want to say, you know? So there are a lot of ideas that are like bouncing around in my head that I'm trying to articulate, but yeah, I think it's maybe too soon to say what those things are.
Do you think if Nima could talk right now, what do you think he would say about your work?
He's like really cool, you know? He's like cooler than me or my husband. I feel like he would just be like, cool, you know?
Would it be like cool with a smile, or cool like cool? Kind of like nonchalant?
I think cool with a smile. I think he'll be like, cool, you know? And I think he'll like approve, but like, you know, just kind of like, yeah, good work.
So you really like to play this game, Fuck, Marry, Kill. So you have you have John Baldessari, Eva Hesse, and Ed Ruscha.
Wait, okay, fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
I would definitely fuck Eva.
I think that's a crowd favorite.
Yeah, definitely. I would...
It's difficult. I think I would marry Ed Ruscha because I just think he's very handsome, you know? I don't want to kill John Baldessari, but I guess I have to.
These are all excellent answers.
Yeah, you know, and I like all of their work though.
So yeah, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Great.
Thanks for the ice cream. That was really
you're
yummy.
welcome. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.